Yeah, we got 33 people on. They're starting to come in. Hello, everybody. Sorry, we're just trying to share stuff out here. We got Maggie on tonight.
Hi, everyone.
We're going to be talking about the gather2030.substack.com. And she's actually going to run us through a bit of her, what she got going on there. So we can show you guys. Pretty cool. And it's been working. So
the kicking the International Council out of local environmental initiatives, otherwise known as the United Nations.
Wait a minute. I thought you were United Nations.
I know. I hear funny shit about myself all the time.
Yeah. So, well, we're waiting for 2 more people to get in so we can get this going. I mean, where did that come from? I know you. Well, I believe I know where it came from. I mean, you used to. You ran for a political party, and you really believed in the United Nations at one time, didn't you? And then you had an awakening. You had an awakening, and now you don't.
Let's clear that up. So so when I ran for the party, the Canadian Action Party, isn't to do with the United Nations at all. But when I am going up there and doing deputations, I point out the fact that I have a background in ecosystem management, and that when I was younger, I believed in climate change, right? And that I wanted to help the world, save the world from climate change. And I believed in the UN. But when I went to school for ecosystem management and learned a little bit of geology and the geological archive, which we can get into a little bit tonight, like basic facts about how the Earth's climate has always varied as long as it existed, I started to realize that wasn't true. And when I moved out to British Columbia and saw that there was an official plan, which is a municipal plan that affects the development of the area of that municipality, and I saw that it was filled with United Nations directives, that's when I first went in and took part in the public consultation. So when I went up and I spoke about ICLEI for the first time last June in Peterborough Town Council, and that video went viral, people kind of took that and laid interpretations on that and went to my bio for running for the Canadian Action Party and saw that I took part in the Terrace 2050 vision. And they didn't double check with me, what were you doing? What were your thoughts then? They just assumed, right? And the Canadian Action Party, when I ran for that, it's completely pro-sovereignty, parliamentary reform, monetary reform, mainly. We are talking about the Bank of Canada and how we're not using it anymore as a country and we're going with private banks. So yeah, that's kind of where that started. But I do find it interesting that that started the day after I said the word ICLEI in a town hall, right? And they don't want people to know about this. So what ends up happening is sometimes these rumors can start so that people won't take the time to listen to what somebody has to say because it might be actually important. So that's kind of where that started.
Yeah, no, exactly. And it happens to all of us one time or another, or multiple times. I just gone up today, Satan.
Exactly. And you just let it take time. It takes time. People have to ask questions and
exactly.
And reach out.
Maggie's gonna talk a little bit about what she's done now. She's went to Peterborough to start with, and she's been to another place where she actually went in and spoke to the councillors and got them to back off what they were signing and what they were getting themselves into in the MD. Well, the what do they call them now? Not the MD. We call ours the the county.
Yeah, there's different names. There's counties. So here in Peterborough, we have the city of Peterborough, and then a bunch of smaller townships in the rural county around us called Peterborough County. So so we went to Duro Dummer, one of those townships, when they were trying to pass the official plan, and we pointed out some pretty key disadvantages of that plan, and the council agreed with us and ended up delaying that official plan. So, and not just for that township, but for the entire county. And so we still have time with that. And I'm actually going back next Monday, I want to say the 19th. I believe that's a Monday.
Yeah.
And yeah, Tuesday, next Tuesday. And we're going to address the strategic plan. And now we have a lot more information to give the counselors so that they can know exactly how to get out of it. Whereas before we were close, we were right on it, but we didn't have all the answers. And now we do have a lot more.
So you got all the information about what they're trying to do, what they're trying to implement, how they're doing it sneaky, and you know, a lot of these counselors, they don't know what they're signing. They only look at the good stuff and they sign away, and life goes on for them, right? You know what I mean? And I have sent your information to our counselors here, and at the town and the county, so that the people that I stay in touch with on the inside can use it. And so far in our county, we've been pretty good here. It's we're in northern Alberta though, so it's quite a bit different than where you live. You know,
good.
Things don't fly the same around here as they do around your area. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. So, we can run people through. We can even zoom in on your municipality tonight if you want to have a look and just double check, make sure that it's not partnered. And the information that we're sharing in councils can be shared even if people haven't, even if the councils haven't signed up for the program, for educational purposes, right? That if this program comes in and does a presentation here and tries to get you to adopt this 3-page motion to partner with us, just know that there's disadvantages to agreeing and adopting this program, right? So it's something we can do everywhere.
Exactly. So let's we got I'll just put it in the chat here too. But you want to send me your thing there so we can get it up, your site?
Yeah. The website?
Yeah. Gather2030.substack.com.
There it is there. And it's in the streaming.
Before I show everybody, you can walk people through it. So we want everybody to know and kind of get used to what she's got going on here. So you guys can go to your own counselors in your own areas and use these tools that Maggie has worked really hard on. And obviously there's other people that work with you too, right, Maggie? So.
Oh yeah, this is the power of the network that has come out of the convoy, the Freedom Convoy, right? When we all came together in Ottawa, there were people who have known for a long time that we have deep problems in our country. And through that event and events since, people have come together and talked about the problems, talked about the solutions, and really dug into where can our energy be most effectively used. And this is one of the areas. There's many different ways and that we can make a difference, and people have different skills to bring to the table. So one of the things our generation is battling with is the mass psychosis on climate change. And the only way to break out of that is to bring forward facts in a professional, calm way. And I think that is what, and a reasonable way, because if we come in and we just argue the points, that's not, the defenses go up. So we need to just calmly break down that rationale. And that's what the template for doing deputations lays out as well.
Yeah. So, and you know, in the country, in all these rural areas, in these counties and stuff, a lot of these counselors are older people as well, right? They're not young people that are doing it.
Yes.
So it's good to get to them and talk to them and let them know what the heck is going on. So
Yeah.
Okay, let's run us through a little bit of this, Maggie, so people can see. They can go check it
Okay,
out.
so this is kind of the history of Kickley here. So how it all started, and we took the ICLEI logo and we put a little guy because we want to kick the International Council out of local environmental initiatives. So we're kicking ICLEI out. ICLEI is an international organization working with the United Nations to push Agenda 21 in local municipalities. So when we first, we were in Peterborough rallying at our town hall, and I thought maybe one day we should just go in there and do a deputation. And a local lawyer who's very passionate about true climate science, and myself got together and we thought, okay, let's go in. So he addressed the climate science and I addressed the UN's infiltration of our municipalities. And a couple of days later, Justin Trudeau flew in to talk to our mayor and our CAO, the Chief Administrative Officer, Jasbir Reina, and local mainstream news, of course. And with that, we knew we were kind of on the right track, and we stirred up that hornet's nest, and we got the word that an official plan, which is the development plan for the municipality, the Peterborough County 2050 plan, was being put forward, and that there were some serious problems with that plan. So I went and I did a similar deputation in Douro-Dummer, and that one went really well. And we pointed out that the council was basically being asked to approve an official plan that would restrict private property rights and make it so that the rural property owners wouldn't be able to sever their land. And they take the provincial mapping and they say, oh, it's all prime agricultural, or it's all ecologically protected or historically protected. So they put these fancy labels on it. And as much as we love our farmers and we want to protect the land, what this official plan was doing is making it so that the farmers would eventually just have to sell their entire property. Because if they can't sever a piece of their land to buy a piece of equipment, or to give to their sons or daughters, or to pay off their mortgage, what ends up happening is they have to sell the entire property. And it's in these official plans that they don't want these rural townships to have any future population growth. And when you take away the population growth, that means that you're taking away the tax revenue for these smaller municipalities. And when you take away the tax revenue, you take away the services. And when you take away the services, that means everyone eventually moves into what they call the settlement areas, which are the cities. And now we're all being redirected slowly into the cities where there's not enough housing. That's clearly evident. There's housing.
They're going to build that for you, all stacked on top of each other in your 15-minute city.
Exactly. And so that's the result of it. We see that our towns are turning to ghost towns, and our cities are turning to tent cities. And this is the result of what they call sustainable development, which is a term that they coined in the Brundtland Commission before Agenda 21 was signed. And it basically states that private control of land, what does it say exactly? That they don't want, I have my little notes up here, and I don't want to say it wrong, but basically that they don't want, that the land cannot be treated as an ordinary asset controlled by individuals like us, right? Yeah. And public control of land use is indispensable, and that they're saving the land for future generations. Meanwhile, our generation is suffering, and it's 30 years now of so-called sustainable development, and it's just created such hardship for our generation. And a lot of the problems that we have are directly related to this. And what's fascinating is it's being done in our local municipalities. And I think that when we hear about Agenda 21, we look at the Prime Minister, we look at these international organizations, and they seem out of reach. But once we realize that Agenda 21 is being implemented locally, that's where the light bulbs start going off, and we think, oh, how did that happen? And we realize that it happened through one little piece of paper at a time, right?
Yeah.
And that all we have to do is
nice and slow over a long period of time, so it's under the radar and people don't really know what's going on. And then, of course, they put their certain people in certain positions as well. I know, talking to a bunch of people, there'll be just random people, or the mayor of this little town, but he grew up in Toronto. Like, what are you doing way over here? What's going on here? And then you look at what's happening in the town. You're like, oh, yeah, of course, right? They're smart at what they do, and they're really good at what they do. But we're on to them, and everybody keeps pecking away at it. So, what's this? These are the councillors' reactions.
Yeah, I wanted to share because I did not expect to have this reaction. I thought, okay, we're going to go in, we're going to share this, we're going to get it out so that, it's on public record, and that people around the country can start looking at what's going on. But this council, one after the other, agreed with what I said, echoed what I said, and basically said it's time that we stand and be counted. So I think it was really inspiring, and we have councillors reaching out from across the country, getting this information so that they can bring it forward to reconsider these partnerships. And we're helping everyone find the original motions, because how things work in a council is it's all paper. It's a fictional realm, right? And once a resolution to adopt a program gets adopted, it becomes a base that everything builds off of. So in order to pull the rug out from under it, we need to bring those exact words back up and have them reconsider it, along with educating them on the disadvantages of this program, and that their supporting rationale for these programs on climate change aren't really holding up 30 years later with the scientific knowledge that we have, the basic scientific knowledge. So you don't have to be an expert in climate science to present, basic facts about the geological archive and the climate cycle, right? So I'm trying to make it so everyone can present this information. Would you like me to share the councillor's reaction?
Going through your website here and kind of show people, because we need to share this out, everyone. Get it to your councillor members in your towns, in your counties, your MDs. Get this stuff out there. Get it so that they can go through this.
Thank you.
Power is knowledge. Knowledge is power. And, they just don't know. Like I said, a lot of these people out in the rural areas are older people. And you got to think that they've been in front of this TV way longer than we have. Say I'm 46, my dad's 73, 74, right? How many more years of indoctrination does he have over me? And a lot of these people that are in these councils, right? They just don't know, and it's not their fault. So we got to do the groundwork, guys. We got to get this stuff out there far and wide, and just keep pushing the info. Let's go.
You make a great point. I was walking the other day, talked to a neighbor. He said he was so concerned about the climate and everything. And he said, I saw a butterfly and the other day, and it's just too early for them. And then I was able to share just some basic facts, which I'm going to share tonight with your audience, because if we can just calm everyone down and just bring a bit of peace to everyone, let them know, look, it was warmer during the medieval warming period. So we'll get into that later, but there's things that we can share with people in a calm way to help break that mass psychosis and help them realize that a lot of our problems aren't to do with climate change. They're to do with the policies that are being in place right now that are affecting our people. So, and you're right, our people perish for lack of knowledge, right? As the Bible says. So I'll just play this here. Hopefully you can hear it. Council,
Any questions, Councilor Wild?
Questions, comments, maybe some clarification, and maybe you just touched on this, but I'll put it in whatever anywhere. And I was thinking myself, and I keep hearing the maps, the mapping isn't even officially yet. It's basically old stuff. So I don't see how the county of Peterborough can pass something that they don't even have all the information on yet. So I agree with them putting it on hold, asking to put it on hold till they have all that information from the province. It just doesn't make sense to do it otherwise. Another thing that for our township is the low growth rate they've established over the next, to what is it, 2051, something like that. I think it's 5% or something like that. I mean, that isn't even going to keep us a status quo for getting ahead, because every time we want more services, it costs more money every year to run this township. I don't think 5% growth is going to even keep us the status quo, and it might help us get ahead of it. So I would like to see some kind of comment in there to bump us up a little higher than that to help us out. And my last thing is, and I don't know 100% on this, but family farms, and there was something in the province saying they were talking about 3 severances. Maybe you don't want to keep somebody, but the Peterborough County plan, I think, said none. And I don't know if that was because of the agricultural designation or what. I'd like to see that addressed too. So those are my 3 comments that I would like to see go to the county for.
So he basically echoed everything I said. That was wrong.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. For you, I could say with respect to the 3 severances, so that it's a great plan.
I'll just move
right
forward
now,
to the next counselor.
I think we just got one comment regarding Maggie Grant's presentation. I think we should look at some of these consideration for our township through the staff, and maybe we could see if there's anything there that can keep us alive. If this is facts that's going on, I think we need to stand up and be accountable. So I would like you to review some of the suggestions that she made, and maybe we should set those forward before the public.
Good job, Maggie.
Yeah.
Good job. So in your website here, does it have your speeches in there? Does it have can people print out your speeches and what to say and stuff so that they can take it to
Yeah.
counselors?
Yeah. So I'll jump over here. This is the new Kickley primer and a step-by-step guide. So it's
Nice.
laid out so it's easy to follow. We've taken all the different research and articles and experiences and kind of put it all into one spot, and
Beautiful.
with a glossary of terms coming, and we go give a little bit of information on the history of the of Agenda 21, which a lot of people don't know, but Agenda 21 is actually an agenda for the 21st century, right? People think it's agenda for 2021, and a lot of stuff did happen in 2021, but Agenda 21 is for the entire century. And and what they did after Brian Mulroney signed on to Agenda 21 is 2 years later, the Federation of Canadian Municipalities created the Partners for Climate Protection Program and sent a municipal primer to all of our Canadian municipalities. It's a 40-page document, and it's subtitled Promoting Sustainable Development Through Local Strategic Action.
Mm-hmm.
And
strategic, all right.
Yeah, and that's why we look at the strategic plans. You'll notice in the strategic plans that they're very much following the blueprint that's prescribed in this municipal primer. So that's really interesting. And let me just go back here. What's fascinating about this that we're showing to councils is that on page 9 of the municipal primer is literally a blueprint for how Agenda 21, it says it right there, will be implemented through Canadian municipalities. And it lays it out how they're going to do that, right? And and if we look at the means of implementation, it talks about public awareness and education, but it also talks about information for decision making. And that's where this Partners for Climate Protection program comes in. At the same time, in 1994, the FCM, or Federation of Canadian Municipalities, which most of our municipalities are signed up with, created this program. And we can see this graph here of membership starting in 1994 until 2021. This goes to the number of municipalities that have partnered with them. And I show people how in this document, I show people how that partnership is taking place. And I point out, the program's aim, it's all about quote unquote sustainable development. Well, what is sustainable development? Again, when the people who coined the term sustainable development state that land cannot be controlled by individuals. And anyone who knows anything about Marxist philosophy knows that it is against private property rights. So that's interesting. And of course, that they're saving the land for future generations. Meanwhile, our towns are turning to ghost towns. We're being moved off of our land and into tent cities. And of course, their rationale for the program is that there's a climate emergency. So that is the argument that we're breaking down. When we go into do a deputation, we don't want to, be talking necessarily about the chemtrails. It's not that we don't want to have those conversations between us and figure out what's going on and find the information for that and expose it. But when we're attacking this in a local council where we're still trying to break them out of the climate narrative. So that's the narrative that we need to, if this is their supporting rationale, that is the rationale we need to break down and bring light to, right? So this is kind of the format that we go in. And that's why I put together this Climate Science 101 article. So people can go there, and if they don't know how to, if they don't know the facts, they can't help others to break out of it. So this gives an entire slideshow presentation, as well as a video of me doing a 10-minute deputation on the climate science and just really basic facts that we can share with our neighbors and really worldwide, wherever this is happening. So I'll just go back to the Kickley guide there.
Yeah, there's this is a good spot for people to come to if they're having a conversation around the dinner table with their parents or their kids or whatever, and it's all climate change conversation. You go, here, come here.
Yeah.
Come look at this. Like, it's a hoax. We are being ripped off.
Yeah. And I'd love to just
money ever stop the climate from changing.
It really doesn't. And in like 2 minutes, I can share with everyone some of those slides and really help them to see and get that into the audience's into their brain bank, right? So that they can share that with their family, friends, and neighbors. And I briefly talked about the benefits of the program and how basically it's offering, like I said, information for decision making, right? Informational resources and access to their secretaries who are basically drafting all of our municipal plans for the council and the municipalities, with an emphasis on UN directives and targeting our mobility and our property rights and our energy security, and even implanting equity, diversity, and inclusion into their climate action plans. If you go to their website, they have a whole report on how they're implementing equity, diversity, and inclusion into their climate action plans. And people got to wonder, what do those two things have in common? And that's a good question. So
nothing. That's what they
yes,
have in common. Nothing.
Nothing. And what's crazy, George, is the plans are being drafted by ICLEI, right? By this program. the public surveys that they're putting out for us are being done by ICLEI. And they're basically if you go do a public survey on one of these municipal plans, you'll get the options to pick your top 3 favorite sustainable development action items. Which one do you want them to do first, George? That's,
Wow.
And then they're saying that they're consulting with local NGOs, and those NGOs are usually called Sustainable Edmonton, Sustainable Peterborough. And guess who those NGOs are partnered with? ICLEI. So are they really getting public consultation? No. Right? So this is what we're
not
going
asking the public anything, not just on this topic. They're just doing what they want at this point, and they're doing it right in front of us, and they don't care.
That's right. That's right. And a lot of the counselors, like you said, are good people, and they're just like, okay, well, I guess this is what everyone's doing, and the staff did this for us. They actually think the staff are drafting their plans. They don't even realize that international organizations are drafting the plans. They direct the staff to draft the plan and do the survey, and the staff calls the PCP secretariat and says, okay, it's strategic plan time. What do you got for us? They download it, and then the council's like, wow, great job. That was fast. And then they kind of bury it. They don't even talk about this program once they adopt it. It's crazy.
Wow.
And then we talk about the official plans, which I already covered. And this is a huge point. They're driving the future population growth away from rural municipalities and into settlement areas. And it's killing our small towns. And the big thing that we're pointing out to counselors is that the Federation of Canadian Municipalities and the Government of Canada, who are funding and administrating this program, it says right on the website that they take no responsibility for this program. So who's holding the liability for all the harms of implementing so-called sustainable development? The counselors are, because they're the ones endorsing and adopting these programs. And
they don't even realize the lawsuits that they could be involved in signing off on this agenda.
It's crazy. Yeah, what ends up happening once they adopt the program, once they pass this 3-page resolution, is they put one corporate staff and one elected official on file, little spot for them to sign. That's who they correspond with, ICLEI corresponds with. And it'll be that staff and that elected official who will continually bring before council items to be adopted and endorsed that basically take our public assets and funds and redirect them to private sustainable development goals and initiatives. And what ends up happening is land being sold and foreign investors are buying it. And I know that for a fact because I sold a piece of property recently, and the buyer came in like they were a family, and it ended up being taken out of their name and moved into a Chinese corporation before the sale went through. So they are.
What? So
yes.
did they? Wait a minute. Back up.
Yeah.
So a family was going to buy your property. You thought it was a family, so you signed off on it.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. And while you were waiting for the paperwork to be finalized and you get your money for the property, it switched names.
Yep. Yeah.
How is that even possible?
And they were so sneaky about it. They were so sneaky about it because, like, when they, the questions that they ask, and they're like, we just want to make sure that no one's died in the home and stuff like that. So you really think it's a family, because a Chinese corporation doesn't care, about that kind of stuff. But they had all these little weird things. We're like, that's weird, but okay. Like, nope, no one's died in the home, and then all of a sudden it switched to the Chinese corporation.
After you signed off on it and the deal is done, or about to be done.
Yeah, they were kind of like, hey, do you mind? And they came in like way higher, right, than any other bid. So it was like an obvious, okay, of course we're going to take this bid, right? So that's how they're doing it. The foreign investors are buying up all of Canada, and this is what we need to get out to the people.
And you know, I seen it in 2008, 2007. I was working in the oil field, and a bunch of these companies started going under. 2008, it got real bad, remember?
Yeah.
And a bunch of these smaller oil field companies, and there was one that was fairly big, same thing. They shut everything in, and all of a sudden there was rigs out there. They were drilling. There was all kinds of stuff going on. I'm like, what is going on here? Chinese bought it.
Wow.
That was wild. And I wasn't awake back then. I'm just like, oh, well, right on. We got lots of work. I was just like, oh, cool. That's more money for me because, I made $45 an hour at my job back in those days. And it was, I was happy, but now I'm like, oh boy, I wish I was awake back then. Shit.
I know. Yeah. So this is it. They're really sneaky. They're sneaky, and it's all paperwork. Like I said, it's this whole fictional realm that we're dealing with, right? That's like, if we could just walk away and for me, I'd just go live on a beach under a mango tree in the Caribbean and live my life. But we're dealing,
you can't hide from what's coming.
Yeah, exactly. They're dealing with this too. So it's coming for all of us. And this is how they're doing it. And I love, there's a theory called Occam's razor, and it states that, the answer to most of our problems is simpler than we think, right? The solution is usually a lot simpler than we think. So here we are, the UN, this huge, big international organization, but how are they doing it? They're doing it through our local town halls. And what they're doing is a clerk or a counselor will simply download this pre-drafted resolution, a 3-page document, George. And it looks good. And it's like from the Federation of Canadian Municipalities, and they're going to give them some extra funding. And they're going to do all the work for them. So the counselor is just kind of like, okay, this is easy. They're sitting there in a 6-hour meeting with 600 pages of paperwork to deal with and get through in a meeting, right? And a 3-page document like this comes through, giving them funding and going to do all the work. And all they have to do is
sign.
First, second, adopted, signed. There it goes. The UN. Yes. So now
it's happening. I mean, with the 15-minute city things and that, and these documents that they're doing, to get these towns and that to sign on to these 15-minute city programs, they get a bunch of money.
Yeah.
They get paid. Yeah.
I'll make this a little bit bigger. I really want to point this out for any counselors watching, people share this with your counselors for sure. These programs, it says right in the joining resolution that your municipality can always leave the program. This is not mandatory. Nobody's forcing the counselors to do this. It says at the bottom here, if it says you can always leave the program. And that's what we want to put forward to the counselors, because they're holding the liability for this, right? And they don't know it, and it's causing great harm on the people and creating a lot of the problems that you're dealing with as counselors and as public servants. So yeah, the solution to globalism is localism, and the globalists know it. Right. So here is Justin Trudeau speaking. Yeah, I know. We'll get him off the screen soon.
Get him out of my computer. It's bad enough he's on my wall. I gotta get my cross moving here. There we go.
Get him, George. But this is him speaking. He speaks every year to the Federation of Canadian Municipalities, and their slogan is local action, national results. They know, and it says right in this joining resolution that they can't do this without local government, right? So the local government has so much power, and they need to know that. And they need to know that the council is the governing body over the municipality. I'll say that again. The council is the governing body over the municipality, the custodians of all of its powers. Nothing happens in that municipality without that council adopting a bylaw or a resolution. That's why once they join these programs, they'll constantly get asked to re-endorse the sustainable development action items and redirect our public funds to these programs and so on. So the councillors need to know just how important they are, right? And that they have the power to save this country one piece at a time, just like out in Duro-Dummer. And when the councillors step up and do this, it inspires other councillors to do it. So I went in and I spoke, right? And that inspired those councillors one by one to echo what I said, because it was true. And then the next day, the mayor had to go to Peterborough County's meeting with all the mayors from Peterborough County. And she spoke. And all the other mayors echoed what she said.
And then Justin Trudeau flew in.
Well, yeah, he had flown in before that. Like the first time I said Ickley in Peterborough City's town hall, that was it. He's like, oh my gosh, don't worry, it's just one person. It's not going to take off. She won't inspire others to do this. And now what did we see? From the East Coast to the West Coast, people have gone in to do these deputations, better speakers than I, better wordsmiths than I. And now we have like even better, we have the answers now for them. We could point out the problem. We were right on the target, but now we have what they need to get out of it. So sorry, I keep pulling this piece of paper. You know, like if we're in a battle against paper,
you keep going.
Yeah, that's okay. I'll just keep talking. If we're in a battle against pieces of paper, this is a battle I can deal with, right? Like this is what I'm up against, is a piece of paper, guys. This is all we're up against, right? Sometimes our freedom isn't taken away at gunpoint. It's taken away one piece of paper at a time, one seemingly meaningless rule at a time, like how to make a recommendation at a town council meeting properly and professionally, right? How to do a deputation. So, yeah, I'll just zoom down here. I'll zoom on down. So this is all available on the website. Here's a step-by-step guide on how to discover if your municipality is partnered. And basically, you go to the Federation of Canadian Municipalities website. Here it is. And I just went to their headquarters in Ottawa last weekend, which was fascinating. And
Nice.
You zoom down. Oh, where did they?
Everybody was asking where you can get this paperwork. It's all on the thing there. Gather2030.substack.com. That's where you get all this stuff, guys. That's the website she's showing you.
They just moved. They just took the map down. That's interesting. Let's see if it's on this page. Okay, so the map was on the Federation of Canadian Municipalities page. Okay, but it's on this page here. Good.
All right, we'll go to Big Lakes County in northern Alberta. We got the biggest county in Alberta, I believe. It's massive.
Oh my goodness. No.
You were showing
Where is
everybody.
it? Oh my God. Okay, this just worked yesterday. I just zoomed in on it.
Today was a big day for censorship because they took down all of our millioncharges.ca lives posts, everything off everybody's pages. They're all gone.
Okay, guys. So this is big because if they don't want us to know this information, like you just saw that we went to the Federation of Canadian Municipalities. There was a map there before, and you could zoom in on your website, on your municipality, and get the year, which was key information that we needed. So the second I release this step-by-step guide, like literally today.
They're
Oh
on
my
to you.
gosh.
All of us.
Maybe
That's
they're
so
not.
good.
Maybe I'm just freaking out. But like, do you see
Well,
dots anywhere? Where are the
Well, I've never
dots?
seen that before, so I don't even know what it looked like. This was the first time I was going to see it. So, but you're
It
saying
had
it's
dots
not there
all
anymore.
over it.
Yeah. So today was a huge day for censorship. They went and zapped a whole bunch of stuff today.
Oh my goodness. It was right here. It has to be somewhere.
Well, search for it for a little bit here. Let's see what they got going on.
Wow. Oh dear. Okay. Well,
All right. Well,
now I have to find another way around it. There's always a solution to our problems, George. So,
yeah. Well, there's lots of people
right.
saying they checked it 2 days ago. It was there. Yeah.
okay. Breaking news.
Yes. Ban on www.millionchargers.ca on Facebook. So
Look
I guess
at
we can't.
that.
I guess we just got to speak the website now when we talk about the million charges. They don't want that people to lay all these charges, right? They know they're in trouble and they're doing everything possible to stop us. You know, it's crazy.
So for people, so with that website gone, it's not really a big deal.
No.
We can basically still make the request to our town clerks to find the resolution that they use to pass this program into their municipality, and we'll figure out a way around that.
Well,
So
you still got all this stuff. You still got your information. People can still go talk to their counselors. That's the main goal, right? Face to face. Get them this information. Everybody, you gotta get out there. Do what you can. I've done my stuff from the phone because I obviously don't have time like some other people do to get this done. So, and if I did, I would certainly be in there just like Maggie is doing, you guys. So anybody who's got time and the speaking skills or knows somebody that has the time and the speaking skills, get into your councils.
yeah,
Town, city, MD.
yeah,
town.
there's a job for all of us in our generation to do, and a huge demographic of the people that are wanting to help in the fight for freedom. They're not necessarily able to do the flag waves and the convoys and the rallies but they are of a retired professional class, and I notice a lot of the people that are reaching out are in that demographic, right? And they have those skills and they can understand the procedure in the council, and it's really not that hard. So you can go to your municipal website and it'll tell you, you know, the guidelines for speaking to council. And I have a link here with an example and how to find items on the agenda if you're only allowed to speak to items on the agenda, and a deputation format, right? So I lay that out and I provide a full script as well as a slideshow, and then a pre-recorded video of a 10-minute deputation on the Partners for Climate Protection program, and one that is effective. So I'll just put that up there and show you guys.
Julie, no, it doesn't have to be in your own municipality. You can go to into other municipalities, Julie.
There's sometimes rules, like you double check ahead of time. Some municipalities I can't speak to, other ones I can.
Rules like that?
Pardon?
There is rules saying if you're not from that municipality that you can't speak in that room?
Yeah, you just call your municipality.
Okay, Julie.
And they,
sorry.
yeah, no, that's okay.
Area, so give it a call. Give them a call and find out if you can go in and speak.
Yeah, what I like to do is I call and I just kind of really politely ask questions and kind of get a feel for it and find out, how much time do we have? Is it 5 minutes or 10 minutes? Do we have to speak to an agenda item? Can someone come from out of town if they're like an expert on climate science or something like that? So the thing with me is, I have a background in ecosystem management, right? So it's kind of effective when I go in and my first slide is Maggie Braun, ecosystems management, and I'm there to lay out some basic climate facts and break down the supporting rationale of this program. That said, I put on the title of this. Oh, it's not on this one, but I put here on the template for others. Leonardo DiCaprio's opening line to the United Nations, I think in 2013, when he went in there and he was like, we need to do something. This is serious, climate change, rah. His opening line was, I come before you, or I stand before you, not as a expert, but as a concerned citizen. So I kind of put that in there for people to give them the confidence. Like, you don't have to be an expert. Like, this is basic facts when it comes down to it. So yeah,
that's awesome. You did a really good job. I'm glad you and your team have been working hard on this to get this out. And there's lots of people coming up with cool stuff.
Yeah.
And it's working. It's working. They're running scared. We know they're all going to be held accountable eventually, and they know it too.
Yeah, I'll just flip through these slides and then we can keep talking, but
What's this about?
So this is talking about, how there's natural factors that cause climate change. One of them is the Earth's orbit and tilt. That's what drives the glacial and interglacial changes. And that's a well-established fact, right? The other one is the geological archive. Again, well-established, the Earth's climate and temperature has changed as long as the planet has existed. And nobody can argue with that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The little ice age, it ended as recently as 1850. So it's no surprise that we're in a period of warming. And it really peaked in 1930 and went down after that. So, and also when you look at, for instance, the medieval warming period or the Roman warming period, and so on, every time the temperature went up is when human civilization did its best. That's when human civilization peaked. So we can't say that the temperature rising is bad for our health, our jobs, and our economy, right? That's just simply not true, based on science. And
no, exactly. It's all just a farce, and it's absolutely ridiculous. We know CO2 is the gas of life. Like
it is, yes.
When they take away too much CO2, everything dies, and we can't grow anything to eat. There's no
it's crazy.
No animals, and we're all in our dystopian 15-minute cities.
Yeah.
Right? That's what's coming. That's what they're doing. Why do you think everything's on fire? If you go and look at these fires that go on all over the place, 15-minute cities, go look at it. You can find it in these areas. Down in Texas, that was huge beef down there. But 80% of that beef for Texas grazers is gone, or is the grass is gone. Farms, thousands of cattle. They know what happened there. They burnt it. It's what happened to me here in Alberta. But I mean, just right outside this window right here, 100 yards from my house. That's how close the fire was. It was all around the farm. We lost all kinds of fences and stuff, and we fought fires. And they're doing it on purpose. They are trying to drive us out of the country into the cities.
Out of the country into the cities. That's right. And that was crazy out there for you guys. And I know I was here in Ontario when that was happening. That's when I did my first deputation, right around that time. And I happened to go down to the MP's office to take care of some passport stuff, just have them look it over. And there was a climate protest outside. So I was like, oh, this is perfect. Got out the phone, made a little TikTok video, shouted my climate facts, right? And I noticed the next day.
Speaking of that, sorry for cutting you off, but you had mentioned a name of an organization that has cells all the way across Canada that after the fires that all started all over the place, they all come out and did their climate change rallies. What was the name of that again?
Now that's 350.org.
350.org. Yeah.
There you go. We fight for a world beyond fossil fuels, and this is what they want, right?
Yeah.
Get involved, guys. They have chapters all across Canada. Would you imagine that?
And
right?
Isn't it just weird that all these fires start all over? I literally seen somebody in the ditch starting them when I was in my big truck with my own eyes, and it's just, and then they start running around with their climate change rallies right after. Surprise!
Yeah, I was like, oh, this is interesting. You know, it's basically spring. I don't know why there's forest fires, and it has a weird smell. It's like there wasn't even any forest fires around Peterborough, but there was a weird smell and haze in the air, and it just was a little off. I'd never in all my life seen any of that. And I've been up north when there's forest fires, and there's a certain smell, and this was different. And so they have this weird haze in the air around all the cities. Like, and I took a drive, and there was the same kind of smell and haze around the cities. And then people were walking around like, oh, it's the forest fires. And I'm thinking, I don't know. And then this organization, 350.org, all of a sudden has a nationwide protest calling for zero fossil fuel use by 2050 and 100% renewables. And they're being, you know, the mainstream media is showing up and getting pictures and pushing that out to continue the mass psychosis that everyone's under. And so I've been kind of putting it out there and encouraging people, you know, maybe some of us should go undercover with this organization, put on our little greeny hats and go in. And especially if you're out where they're doing the forest fires, and just see if they're up to anything. Yeah, that's what I would do if I had time.
Yeah. No, it was a tough goal. And, you know, if you take aluminum and what else is it? Barium, and they spray it on the skies too. I can't remember what they do anymore. I got away from the geoengineering and stuff. But if you take that aluminum and magnesium and stuff, and it's in powder form like that, it's very flammable.
Yeah,
very
really, really, yeah.
Yeah. So you get all this stuff, and of course, it's just, you know, and the guys that were fighting this fire, they called it the Beast, and they said they'd never seen anything move like it before. It was all totally different than what they've ever fought before. You know?
Well, that makes sense if they're spraying stuff down and then light it up, and it moves quicker, and
it was dry, and it's dry too, right? And the wind. And, you know, the winds pick up and blow just in a perfect direction, it seems, all the time. And then the big fires, they create their own wind as well. So they're very, very dangerous, you know. So we were lucky our community banded together. I'm not worried about my community out here at all. When push comes to shove, I already know. Everyone just told them to piss off. They told us all to evacuate. We told them where to go, and we all got our equipment going, and you know, the tractors coming through the smoke, just plowing land, and the cats are going, and everybody's got water tanks and pumps at the dugouts. And get out of our way. Get out. Just leave. We don't need you here.
What a time to be alive, eh? Like it's straight out of a movie, and So
we're gonna keep this nice, and I don't know how long we've been on, but that's good enough for tonight. Thank you so much for all your hard work, Maggie, you and your team, and everybody that's helping, and everybody that's out there sharing this stuff. Thank you. Let's get it out there. It's all on there. She's got more information on there than you actually need. For your sake.
Oh, George, I wanted to end on this
Okay.
one here.
Yeah, what's this one?
So this is really funny. You know, we're going in and doing deputations, and some people are getting letters like this saying that their deputation is denied because the council of the city bases its decision making under the broad umbrella of the United Nations directives. So we can see it right here. Once they partner with this program, right, then the council is being forced to only look at decision-making options within the UN directives. And why? Because Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, it says, is aiming to achieve the 2030 agenda. So if people if people are mad at Trudeau, do what I did and stir up the councils in your local region and get this information to them. And we can make such an impact.
Is there a way around this after the county, the town signs onto that paper? Is there a way to get out of it?
Yes, there is. Yes, there is. So even with this letter, what they're hoping that we don't find, and which we have found, is the fact that Aurelia, the Council of Aurelia, has agreed to adopt this program that brought the UN directives in, right? So they're trying to say here, and I didn't read it, but based on their council procedures, if an item that we want to speak to is outside of their jurisdiction, then they're allowed to deny it. But what we can now show them is, well, no, you agreed to partner with this UN directive program. So if that was in your jurisdiction, we're allowed to talk about it. And then the way out is to do a deputation like this slideshow will do, and people can go there and watch the 10-minute deputation done with the slideshow and like let that sink in. Then what we're doing is our recommendations at the end is and that's our civic duty, is to do deputations for public awareness, for information for decision making, and to make recommendations. That is the polite way to do it. We don't go in there and yell at them. We don't go in there and with our feelings. We go in there with our facts, and we politely make professional recommendations such as they're used to seeing in their agenda. So this is an example of that. And
don't care about your feelings.
No. And so next week we're going to Thorold in Niagara, and the counselor in Thorold, Counselor David Jim Handley, it has put forward a notice of motion to reconsider the council's resolution to approve participation in the Partners for Climate Protection program. And so we put that forward, that original motion be reconsidered and hopefully rescinded, right? So when we go in next Tuesday, we're going to bring lots of people.
I like Chris's comment. Once in a while, it doesn't hurt to express your feeling.
Well, yeah. Doesn't really, anyway.
Let him have it.
Right, yes. Well, and you're right. It is this is upsetting. It is upsetting. And that's why we come together and we talk and share. But there is a way out of it. And I said it while you got up for a minute there. But sometimes our freedom isn't taken away at gunpoint. It's taken away one piece of paper at a time.
Yeah, with a pen.
Yep. One seemingly meaningless rule, like how to make a recommendation in a town council meeting and how to do a proper deputation, right? And that's what we're up against.
You're doing this. So Maggie, do you get to see the comments when I put them up like that?
I do. Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
What about the chat? Do you get to see the chat at all?
I only saw the private chat. Oh my goodness. There it is. Hi, everyone.
Okay, so you'll have to go through it later. There's people asking you questions in there, and I can't really keep up to it, but just go stroll through it later when you got time.
Okay.
Go and chat with people there. So,
And if anyone has questions too, there's this initiative is called Kickly, and there is a Kickly Zoom meeting every Friday night at 7 Eastern. So you can come join me, join counselors and retired mayors and city planners. We're getting all the professional people who want to work on this, and all the regular people who are ready to do their civic duty with deputations together. And we're going to address the municipalities, and we have people working on how our school boards and libraries are also partnering with UN directed programs, and how we can get them to rescind those motions as well. So thank you, George.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, protect those children in those schools. They got enough problems. They don't even know if they're a cat or a dog or a fence post or anything nowadays.
I know.
You don't need any more problems for our children. So there you guys have it. Thank you so much, Maggie. Awesome website. I'll share it out on my page after we're done the live. And people, please share it out there. Share it to your community, share it to your pages, talk about it. Let's get going with this, guys. Let's start tackling it at a local level a lot harder, okay? I'm on it at my local level with my people on the inside, and I hope you guys do it too. I hope you do it too. So thanks a lot, Maggie. You're awesome. I'll talk to you again soon.
You too. Thank you, George.
No problem. So everyone, that's awesome, eh? That's some hard work. There's lots of patriots out there doing a lot of hard work, guys. And tomorrow I'm going to do some more lives. I'm hoping to get. I'm not going to say any names. I'm just going to see if I can get some other people on. I'd like to do a couple more tomorrow. I have the day off tomorrow, so I'm going to just get some information out there to you on my platforms. So please share this stuff out as it comes out, because we are being shadow banned really bad. They're taking our stuff down, so let's get it out for as many people to see before it gets taken down. That's the trick. We got to work together as a team out there, guy. All right. Love everybody. Peace out. See you tomorrow sometime. I don't know what time, though.